at Prosperity Heights Elementary will be featured on Nickelodeon Network this fall. District arts programs receive a boost from a local radio station. The St. Paul Reed's citywide book club selections are made, and the legislative budget saga is finally over. All this and more on this edition of SPPS Today. I'm Jessie King, and I'll be your host. In July, state lawmakers agreed on a 4% increase in each of the next 2 years to fund education. The funding increase means that our district will be able to restore $2.2 million of the $15.3 million that was cut from the 2005-2006 budget. Being able to restore some of the cuts was good news for the district, which has cut more than $60 million over the last 6 years. Many in St. Paul, including St. Paul Public School parents, students, and staff, wrote letters, made phone calls, and testified before the legislature in support of an increase in education funding. The Rally for Education drew hundreds from St. Paul who joined thousands from across the state at one of the largest gatherings at the Capitol in over a decade.
St. Paul, above all else, was the most organized system. It was two important entities standing side by side, the parents and the school, saying this is wrong.
We had about 200 parents, teachers, and kids come on 2 buses to the Capitol for the rally. And we were singing in Spanish on the way to and on the way from, and we stayed and had pizza at the school afterwards. And as difficult as the funding situation was, it really helped bond our community together better, which was amazing. People who care about education, which appears to be a large number of people, were willing to take a lot of time out of their personal lives to say, we care about education. This is the way we want to live. We have a quality of life that is important to us. We're willing to pay for it. We're willing to take our time, and we did that.
About 30 or 40 of us, including kids, that all went down there. We prepared the kids, made banners that they held up in signs, and the kids all created nice little slogans they wanted to say to kind of from their hearts that represented what they were feeling about needing more money for their schools. So as a community we went, but the kids thinking that I have a say and I have a voice and I can do something to be a part of this process and I can be effective and I can make my demands heard. That was so inspiring because it's teaching our children that you do your best, you be your best, you speak up for yourself, you can be an advocate for the larger picture.
There's a lot is happening in St. Paul. It's a vibrant, rich, changing culture. And that's what's exciting about being in the city, is my kids can see so many different people and learn about so many different cultures, but we have to pay attention to the real needs of the kids. It's a vibrant, rich, changing culture. And that's what's exciting about being in the city, is my kids can see so many different people and learn about so many different cultures, but we have to pay attention to the real needs of the kids. They're changing, they're growing, but so many neat possibilities. And I think St. Paul could be this little microcosm, this little model for the nation about how a bunch of different cultures could work together. But we have to be progressive, and we have to be foresightful and planful. And you can't just do the same old and try not to cut taxes. Now, maybe increasing taxes isn't the answer, but then let's think outside the box and find out what is.
St. Paul and Minneapolis public schools received a check this summer from Clear Channel Communications and radio station Smooth Jazz 100.3 to help fund arts programs in the schools. St. Paul received more than $50,000 from the proceeds of the sale of Clear Channel's Smooth Jazz 100.3 sampler CD.
The main reason we're here is to help out the community. So we came up with the concept of the Smooth Jazz Sessions. And what that is a way for us to invite artists in while they're in town to perform a song or two right here in this very studio. This is where the Smooth Jazz Sessions are held. And we've had a pretty good response to that. And we were able to raise quite a bit of money last year for both St. Paul and Minneapolis. Not only the music programs, but for the theaters and arts programs too. And I think that every child needs to have the opportunity and the availability to at least try their hand at music or acting or painting or whatever, and to find out whether or not that is their calling in life. And if not, then they know they need to go on to something else. But if it is, then they can be identified as a person with that particular talent, and the great teachers of the school districts here in the Twin Cities can then nurture them. You know, it was very interesting what Michael McDonald told me when he came in to do these performance here in our Smooth Jazz Lounge. He was motivated by the fact that his performance here at Smooth Jazz 100.3 was going to help generate funds from the sale of this CD. And you know, he told me a story when he was young. He said, you know, Mike, if the same thing happened to me, I may not be a musician. If I did not have the music program or the theater program or the arts program in my school, if I didn't have the opportunity to explore when I was younger what it is I wanted to do, you know, I may be doing something completely different than what I am right now. Chris Bodie, who is probably the top smooth jazz performer right now, his latest CD went gold. He was also very adamant about helping out. Dave Coz last year, when he came to the radio station, even though he didn't have time to perform live in the studio, he contributed a track on this CD, which was never ever released before on any of his CDs. So it really makes this collection a collector's item. And the musicians have been very wonderful about coming in and helping out whichever way they can to help the project along. The CD sold out within a few weeks, which very, very much heartened our souls because, you know, we weren't sure. And we see now that there is a real appetite for some of the special performances that happen here in the Smooth Jazz Lounge. Our first year, we pressed 10,000 copies. We sold all of them. And, you know, so we're going to think about maybe increasing the run this year. Coming up in November, we're going to be releasing Volume 2 of our Smooth Jazz Sessions. And like last year, we're going to have a few of the very special in-studio performances that were done here in the Smooth Jazz Lounge. But one of the different things we're going to do this year is to provide a number of older catalog tracks that weren't on the first CD that I think a lot of people are going to like. If you're a relative newcomer to smooth jazz and you want a CD that's going to sort of cover all the bases, have some of the best vocalists, some of the best saxophone players, some of the best guitar players, some of the best keyboard players, and then combine that with some of our performances from here in the Smooth Jazz Lounge, that's going to be our aim this year. I can't give you the lineup right now, but as we get closer to November, I'll let you know about that.
Watch for Smooth Jazz 100.3 Sessions Volume 2 on sale at Target stores in November. Move over SpongeBob and Jimmy Neutron. Students from Prosperity Heights are coming to Nickelodeon. The network was so impressed with the school's Panther Pedal Power Bike program, Nick's television crew spent 3 days filming a feature at the school that will air in October. The bike program was funded by a Steps to a Healthier U.S. grant and a Nickelodeon Let's Just Play grant.
St. Paul Public Schools have done a great job implementing the Let's Just Play program. They really, really believe in nurturing kids to live an active, healthy lifestyle. And that's what Nickelodeon's goal was, and it worked. So the principal here and the kids here are very excited about it. The PE teacher and staff have been excellent with getting kids up and getting kids out and being as active as they can. The bicycle program will be an all year long program during lunchtime, during PE class, during Monday night bike rides. So it really is truly making a difference.
The bike club with Panther Pedal Power, which is kind of a tongue twister, I think we can start it small and we can go wherever we want. I can see on the big scale of having an after-school bike club. I can see on the weekends tying into the Gateway Trail. Hey, maybe taking a ride downtown St. Paul on the trail, maybe going all the way to Stillwater, and really taking advantage of our situation here on the east side and the nice bike trails.
The feature about the school's bike program will air Saturday, October 1st, Nickelodeon's Worldwide Day of Play.
On October 1st, we declare Worldwide Day of Play. Worldwide Day of Play, there's no programming. We shut down for 4 hours and we tell kids to go out and play. We'll come back and it will be extravaganza of play, and we will show all of these featurettes to see how these other kids in different communities like Nome, Alaska, St. Paul, Minnesota, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, all over, have won the grant and what they did with it. And Boys and Girls Clubs of America is a partner of this, National PTA, NASB, and they're really helping us get the word out about Let's Just Play and spread the idea of kids can be that, the advocate for change, and kids can be empowered to get moving and own their own lifestyle.
This summer, Superintendent Pat Harvey and Mayor Randy Kelly announced their selections for the 2005-2006 St. Paul Reed's Citywide Book Clubs. St. Paul Reed's programs have been inspiring kids and adults to read more.
Looking for a good book to read? Want a great suggestion for your book club? Then you'll want to join up with the thousands of St. Paul secondary students and adults throughout the community who are reading this year's St. Paul Reed's Citywide Book Club selection. All the recommended books focus on the Latino culture in celebration of the opening this year of the Mexican Consulate on St. Paul's East Side. A Place Where the Sea Remembers by local author Sandra Benitez explores how the smallest of actions can have a profound effect on many lives. The book is set in St. Paul's sister city in Mexico. For 4th through 8th graders, the St. Paul Reed's book selection for this year is Esperanza Rising by Pam Munoz Ryan. Esperanza, when confronted by tragedy, finds a strength within her that she didn't know existed. For the youngest learners, St. Paul Reed suggests Elena's Serenade by Campbell Geesland, Mice and Beans by Pam Munoz Ryan, I Love Saturdays y Domingos by Alma Florada, Arandi's Braids by Antonio Hernandez Madrigal. St. Paul is a city of readers. Since the beginning of St. Paul Reads in 1999, St. Paul Public School students have read more than 9 million books.
Make sure to check out the reference guide sent in the August edition of SPPS Today. This special pullout section includes a school location guide, school start and end times, a district calendar, and quick reference phone numbers. Thanks for watching and have a great school year. His proposal, our district with $18.3 million deficit. Schools and programs are governor proposed a increase in case education funding. Proposal leaves our district with a $15 million deficit. Schools are beginning the painful cutting process, but our hope